IED started with Dr. Julia Davidson, and it was her brainchild to provide services for students. At that time, we were called disadvantaged students. And she wanted to provide services for those students because we believe your test scores are not always a reflection of your abilities. We had what we call a bridge program, upward bound bridge program, which was the bridge between high school and college. And she wanted to bring them into the university.
The Upward Bound program focuses on high school students with the intent of trying to prepare them for college and assist them enrolling in college. Upward Bound was graduating its first class in 1968. They began to talk about how they were going to continue to have a kind of Upward Bound experience for these students once they graduated from Upward Bound. 19 graduates became the first IED students. The IED program came at a time when it was not far removed from being a very, very segregated campus.
Well, I actually got to the university in 1965, when you had to send in a picture of yourself so that the university wouldn't have a black student living with a white student. It was a different day in terms of how free folks felt to use certain language, but not so different in terms of the climate that we're in right now.
By the time I came on campus in 1972, the IED program was well established. The ideal of making sure students had support in reading skills and how to take tests. And they had not only counseling, but they had advising and just somebody to talk to from the social, cultural, and psychological standpoint. And also making sure that they had very, very high support in math and English writing.
We had our allies across campus, different departments, that would allow us to modify courses like the math course that we modified. Math is usually just a 3-credit course. If you don't really understand the foundation of the course, the beginning, then everything mounts and you'll always be at a disadvantage. So we broke it up into 3 1-credit courses. You finish 1 credit successfully, and then you're able to move on to the second.
The student was not a human being just academically only. An awakening was when they had food that was prepared for black students, soul food. And they had dance, they had culture, they had poetry readings, and that became sort of the cultural outlet for black students. It also became the impetus for the Nambura Culture Center.
We wanted the students at the university to know that they had a home here at the university. They had someone that cared about them and was in support of their efforts to finish undergrad school here at the University of Maryland.
I ran Upward Bound from 1972 until I was asked by the then Vice President for Academic Affairs to assume responsibility for IED. I also initiated a change of name from IED to AAP. Our programs are based on low-income first generation. That cuts across all ethnic groups.
The admissions office screens the kind of students that we serve here, and we give them exams before they are enrolled in the summer. Those of them who have been proved to have the potential will be attending STP, Summer Transitional Program. During this time, they get intensive help in developing their skills, and also they take a core course. Those of them who performed well, and we believe that they can be here, that they can be successful at this university, will be admitted for the fall. Once they are admitted, they stay here for 1 more year as intensive help, continuing what they have started in the summer. And as much as they want until they graduate, the service for them is open.
I was out of school for a while, had been married with 2 daughters, and recently had been separated. So I told my sister, who was a guidance counselor in Maryland, that I wanted to go to college. She knew someone in the program and she told me about it. And that was good for me because being out of school for a while, it was like a nurturing program to help me through that period. But even at that, I still graduated in 2.5 years.
IED helped me with advocating for myself. Specifically, we're talking about fighting for the opportunity to attend the University of Maryland and fighting for an opportunity to demonstrate that I can achieve academically and then use that academics to get the next opportunity in life. When I graduated from high school, I was fairly hyperactive. I definitely needed to use resources if I was going to graduate from college. It was very clear that if I asked for help, I would get it. This gave me the opportunity to build the future that I have the wife that I have the kids that I have, and have them have the futures that they have simply because I got this education. AAP is important today because people are being left out and left behind, and they don't need to be.
Going into the summer program, I really had a chance to get more of the structure and discipline I needed because I was very kind of free-spirited, artsy. That helped me to be successful even, past the summer program. Right now, I am working for academic achievement programs in an interim role as a program management specialist, and hoping to continue to work in one form or another with the program. I want to be an impact to others in the way that I was impacted.
The AAP program and the Ronald McNair Scholars Program is very vital for students like me who are first-generation minority students, get an exposure of research and have even the idea that they can do a PhD program.
So I had a 3.5 GPA, but coming here, there were people who were way much advanced than me, learning things that, they have engineering programs in their high school. I didn't even think that was possible. The summer transition part of AAP, it helps to level the playing field by first testing you on what you do now. And it provides you with what you would need to succeed in a university such as Maryland. And this tutoring is free to AAP students.
These students do have the potential to be successful. They are not any different from any other student, and therefore we educate the educators. This is a challenge. The challenge has been there all the time. The main thing is to communicate with the professors.
It's really up to you to set goals, set SMART goals. McNair really pushes SMART goals, and then achieve whatever you want to achieve. A lot of the values that McNair holds, really valuing community and family, scholarship, this kind of resiliency that they build via the conferences, via the time that's spent in advising. This is not just a one and done with them. It's your family now.
I would say this program's necessary and important for my success because, growing up with my parents and my family members who immigrated from China, they didn't have much, especially in education, which is one of the main top priorities here in the US. And so for me, I gained a lot of more motivation in terms of the importance of this program because I want to do well and I want to be able to be the first in my family to basically reach a PhD.
I think the university should support AAP because part of their mission is diversity and inclusion. And part of diversity and inclusion is you're receiving students with many different backgrounds, such as education level not being at par with some of the other students. If funding didn't exist for AAP, I probably wouldn't have been able to make it past my first year. My internship at NASA. I'm a Pathways intern. So as long as I finish my program, I have a guaranteed position at NASA. Without AAP, I wouldn't have been able to go there.
If it were not for these programs, the University of Maryland's reputation would not be what it is today. They have contributed to integration. They have contributed to increasing social justice orientation on the campus. They've contributed to infusing the curriculum of culturally relevant instruction. They have contributed to the consciousness of the community that did not exist before these programs started. They have contributed to the pool of people who are faculty who have graduated through the McNair program. 1/3 of those students' parents have zero taxable income. They're more determined than most, I think, would realize, given the circumstances under which they try to survive in the university. We are an institution that has a responsibility to maximize and to expand opportunities for the citizens, the taxpayers of the state of Maryland. And even though I believe there's logic and benefit in the ideal of high standards and selectivity, I think that we also have to be conscious of the fact that we can deny great talent if we're not more responsive to the kind of students that AAP bring. I would like to encourage the university to view these programs and to embrace these programs as such and provide the kind of resources that ensure these programs' sustainability beyond the existence of grants or the dependence on grants. To our alums, I would particularly like to convey to them that they have benefited greatly and are in positions of various levels of influence and authority because of these programs. It is so critical that alums become involved in the program and giving back in any number of ways, but in one particular way, alums could assist us provide the kind of additional and supplemental resources to help students who now cannot sometimes afford their books have the resources to get through the university and acquire an education such as they. I believe every student is born with the seed of greatness within them. And what we have to do is to encourage them to reach deep within themselves to become all that they can be.